Buenos días, Niall, and thank you for joining us today on Business Spotlight Series.
Good morning, Javier.
Today we have Niall Cochrane, founder of North Visual Studio, a professional visualization studio based in Glasgow, specializing in the built environment. So, Niall, can you tell us a little bit more what you do and for how long you've been doing it?
Yes, Javier, I've been doing architectural visualization as my main business for 20 to 25 years. I have also gone into areas such as animation, visual effects, virtual reality, NFTs, really anything that you can think about within that regard. And lots of other little things as well to understand the world of 3D computer graphics.
Very good. Was this, Niall, something you always wanted to do when growing up?
I always wanted to create big, impressive imagery. I was never really into the animation side of it because it was all video cameras and linear editing back whenever I was younger. But whenever I started getting a taste for that, and then whenever you could do editing and animation on computers, it made it a lot more accessible. So that's whenever you could apply the large scale imagery to animations and bigger environments. That developed over time, but it's essentially the same concept idea, the interest I had whenever I was much younger in school. And it's stuck with me throughout my entire life. So, yeah.
Excellent. And who is the first person that comes to mind when you think about success?
Success? Oof, that's a tricky one. That is a very difficult one.
Who do you look up to out there in the big wide world?
Well, I suppose it's a bit of a cliche, but Elon Musk is actually, I think he's light years ahead of most. I think in reality, a lot of our society in the future will be standing on his shoulders.
Yes.
In many respects.
Yes, he's the inspiration for many people, definitely.
Yeah.
And what business changes you made in your business because of COVID? Did it affect you, or you are more remote all the time and didn't take much fun?
I was already remote for about a year or two before that, simply because my wife and myself, we have two young children, or they were younger then, and luckily just before COVID we moved to the outskirts of Glasgow. So we were in a much more open area. Prior to that, we were in a flat in an apartment building. And it was very, very good timing. It was very lucky for us.
Yes.
But at that stage, I also was contacted by an animation company that was doing children's animation.
Yes.
And because of COVID, they had to change the way that they were producing their television program. And they were looking, instead of photographs, they were going to start working or create the environments in 3 dimensions. So they got in touch and we started talking about it, and we came to an agreement that it was possible for them to do the whole television program in 3D. A mixture of the environments, I mean, the backgrounds, the sets, if you will, and then the 2D animated characters would be animated over that, but that was a separate department. But yeah, so they needed to change the way they were doing their program, but they took a little bit of a turn towards 3D, and it worked out fantastically.
Brilliant.
Excellent. And the interesting thing about that was that everyone was remote. We were all over Europe. The 2 main offices were in Helsinki and Barcelona. So the production team were incredible. They were fantastic to work with. Pikukalu, Veronica, and good grief, I forgot the main producer's name. Anyway, I shall remember it. Yeah, so that lasted for quite a long time. I was very, very, very fortunate that my business was not destroyed by COVID, because I'm very aware that a lot of businesses were,
Yeah.
and I really feel for them. I can't even begin to imagine how devastating it was during that time. But one other thing that I have done over the years is that I have kept my overheads absolutely minimal, so that if there was any change, I would be able to respond to it a lot quicker. So,
Yeah.
and I had set that in motion prior to COVID. So it was, I must admit, I was incredibly lucky over
Yeah.
COVID. However, having said that, after COVID, and then all the financial markets consolidated, and they realized what was really happening after such a massive infusion of money globally, it has since plummeted. So
Yeah.
we're now looking at another challenge right now, which I have found really the footsteps of it started last year, but really kicked in this year. So it's different for different companies.
You can tell what's coming. I mean, is it affecting your industry? I mean, the
Yeah,
next 12, 18 months that we're going to see is going to be pretty dire for a lot of people. Do you feel that in your industry?
I think it's going to be very difficult because interest rates have gone up. The war in Ukraine is a terrible thing, obviously, but I think also internationally, a lot of companies have taken advantage of that and have hiked up prices. Unfortunately, they've used that as a guise to make more profit. And unfortunately, the increase in costs, the increase in interest rates, it's having a massive effect. It's really,
Yes.
really hurting everyone, from ordinary people to companies, small companies, big companies, everyone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as a small company, we don't have the ability I don't sell anything tangible. So
Yeah.
I can't hike up my prices as easily because it's tighter. Marketing budgets are tighter, even for my long-term clients. So I am trying to provide more service to them for essentially the same money, which in real terms is less.
Yeah. Yes. And what is your biggest learning since you've been a business owner?
Where do you start? Keep your overheads low. I prefer to be small and nimble. The other one is it's taking the time to do the important things correctly and having a balance. I know this all sounds cliche, but it really is that you have to, as a single person in my company, I have to do everything from quotes to every aspect of every production job to all the research and development that I am looking to roll out as new services 1 year down the line. It might even be old hat by then, but I have to do sufficient research to make sure that my new services that I'm going to offer in 2024, 2025 has got longevity. It can actually work and bring in the money that is necessary for me to exist and answer the questions that my clients want answered, a year ahead of time. So
Yes.
it's a difficult balancing act.
I love what you said that taking the time to do the important things well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very important.
There is a great book, actually. I put it here, which is I don't know if you've read it, The One Thing.
Oh, nice. No, I haven't read that.
It's what is the one thing that if you get done, everything else will become easier or even unnecessary. That's
Yeah.
the max of the book. It's a great read. So
It's a brain hack, essentially.
yes.
That's how to hack your own brain.
Yeah.
Because you can get caught up in everything so very easily, and then all of a sudden you're
Yes.
lost.
Yeah, when you focus on the minutia, you call it minutia,
Yes.
right? The small.
Minutia, yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Now, what does the future look like for you? What are your plans for the business for the next 5 years?
What I'm trying to do is I'm looking at different areas to expand into. I don't want to just rely on architectural visualization. There are a number of areas that I'm looking at that look very interesting. Obviously, there is artificial intelligence, which is such a massive subject, but I think it's very important to be knowledgeable of it. Not necessarily incorporate it, but to be absolutely honest, everyone that sits at a computer is going to be affected by artificial intelligence. So you're either with it or you're not. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
So, you know, with regard to artificial intelligence, it's how deep do you want to go? Do you get into machine learning? Do you start learning code, or do you start using products that are already available online, and figure out a way that those can streamline your own business? For example, sales and marketing is a big thing for me. How to, you know, make sure that you're getting all the leads and how they're being processed and followed up correctly. It takes so much time. You really need somebody doing that for you, to be honest.
Yeah. No,
and if artificial intelligence can help with that, then so be it. But you still need the human component. We haven't in any way got rid of that whatsoever. We're at the very basic foothills of that, in my opinion. So
yes.
It's really people that are required for that.
Yeah. I love the mantra that saving you a wage is costing you a fortune.
Yeah.
Of doing it yourself could cost you a fortune. You know, it's
exactly
a fantastic mantra. That's brilliant. What would you? Do you have any advice for your 18-year-old self?
Try and do for my 18-year-old self. Good grief. That's interesting, because whenever I was 18, I was studying architecture, or just about to study architecture, and we started on drawing boards. So our undergraduate was on drawing boards and our postgraduate was in computers. So we actually went through university through that transition. And everything since has obviously been computers. But I think that inflection between one medium and another is happening so much quicker. And I think AI is the next one. So my 18-year-old said, don't do architecture. No, I'm only joking. Yeah, just try and keep level-headed. Balance life with work. Don't work too much. Yeah. Because there is very much a tendency for people to think that working harder is the key. It's not necessarily the key, and also employers also want you to work a lot harder. So yeah, finding the balance is very important.
Brilliant piece of advice for those watching this recording. And well, Niall, it's been a real pleasure to have you join us today at Business Spotlight. And thank you for sharing your experience and wisdom with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Javier.